What's going on, guys? So, I thought I would stop by here today, just real quick, and give my thoughts on the Nick guy, the roadside assistance tow truck driver, right? A lot of people say that they don't think he's credible or that he's in on some other plot and to throw stuff off. But I watched that clip, the interview at the beginning of AWP's video about Kylie, and I believe the guy. He sounds genuine. And I want to just clear things up from people saying, well, they said this, they said that. I want to go through what I heard him say, right? So, first, he says that he got a call. He was in Reno. He got a call for a battery, which means the car won't start. Normally, it's a dead battery. It's called a battery call. Doesn't mean that the battery was dead. It just means that's what the call he got was for. So he goes out. It's at Boca Lake. He gets there, parks, gets out, starts talking to him. It's a blonde girl and a skinny brown headed guy, right? Brown headed guy has black San Francisco flat bill hat on, brown hair sticking out from under the cap. He's got acne on his face, maybe freckles, something. He's a skinny guy. He's wearing a bro tank, and he looks like he's had a rough night or stressed out, doesn't look well. Now, the girl is blonde. She looks the same way. She looks stressed out. They're being sketchy. They're avoiding each other. If one's on one side of the car, the other is on the other side of the car. They're not together. They never seem to be together. And then she's asking really weird questions, right? The car's fine. He says the reason it wouldn't start is because it was in neutral. I guess you have to have your foot on the brake when the car's in neutral to start it, and they never did. Maybe she did that on purpose because she was nervous and she was hoping Jagger would call a friend and then she wouldn't be alone with him anymore. But maybe she just didn't know, right? So he gets the car started, tells her to let it run for a couple hours. That throws a lot of people off. If the car was perfectly fine and only wouldn't start because it was in neutral, then why are we saying leave the car running if the battery wasn't dead? He never said the battery wasn't dead. He said the only problem with the car is that it was in neutral and that's why it wouldn't start. If she tried to start the car a bunch of times without pushing the brake and turning the key, or she left the ignition on, she could have killed the battery. She said she had been there all night. Now, like, when he's talking about it, to me, he seems like he's saying, when I got there, it all seemed fishy. It seemed real strange and weird. I wish I would have done more. I wish I would have done something. I wish I would have said something. I wish I would have asked if she needed help. Because he seems like he's feeling pretty guilty about this in all reality, you know? And it's not his fault, but he does sound like he's carrying some guilt that he didn't say something. And then he says that when he left there, he called his wife, told his wife about it, and told her it felt awkward. And, his wife verified his story. She said it was her dad's birthday, so she knows for a fact that it was on Saturday, which is the day after the party. So that would mean that Kylie had to leave the party when she left, leave there and drive out to Boca and meet Jagger there since Jagger wasn't at the party, if we're going to assume that it was Kylie and Jagger in the car that the tow truck driver guy saw. He never said it for sure was. He said he thinks it is. It's a possible link, right? And he identified them and he described Kylie and Jagger. Now, he didn't know from that time when he saw it, he pulled over, he called his wife. He didn't know that Kylie was going missing or she was already missing at that time. He didn't have any idea about that. He lives in another state. So the next weekend when he's working his shift and he's over there, he goes in a store and he sees the picture. When he sees the picture of her in the car, he remembers, hey, I had these people over there, or at least he thinks it is by memory. So he calls the cops and gives them that and tells them, yes, they called roadside assistance. We've got their phone number that they called from. I've got front-facing cameras and rear-facing cameras with audio inside and out. I always park toward the car that I'm servicing, so it should be a clear shot of who it is and who they are and have both of them on camera. Why would he do that if he's lying? Why would you go and say, hey, I've got this story because I want to be part of this case, and at the same time say, yeah, we got cameras everywhere, you can definitely see it, and then it didn't happen. So I think it definitely happened. I think the only question is, was it Kylie's car? And if it was Kylie's car, was it Kylie? Was it Kate? Was it Sammy? Well, what about all this new stuff with Jagger and Kate? Maybe Kylie was at the party and she's drinking and having a party, having fun, and her and Jagger had been broke up. So Kate and Jagger had been hooking up. Kylie didn't know, and then she finds out, calls Jagger upset. He meets her to talk to her. They're at the car doing whatever they're doing, arguing, getting messed up, whatever else they're doing to sit there and not realize that the car was in neutral was the only reason it wouldn't start. They probably weren't sober. They were probably eating Xanaxes or something. Probably ended up being fake Xanaxes. She took it. It was fentanyl. It killed her. He had it. He had took some too. He didn't know. Or he knew that they were fake Xanaxes. He hadn't took none. He gave one to her and it killed her. And he panicked. So then he goes and he hides the car. Maybe that was the case. Maybe after she dies, because they passed out in the car that morning or whatever, and he wakes up to her dead, freaks out, tries to start the car won't start. He don't want to just run off, so he calls Kate. Kate comes to help him. Kate gets there, they can't get the car to start, so they call roadside assistance and pretend Kate is Kylie. You know, you can go 1,000 different ways with that. But I believe he's telling the truth. It just depends on if it was Kylie's car or not. So if it was Kylie's car, then we've got a big story here, right? Like, there's no way it was accidental death leaving the party if it was her or her car 12 hours later at Boca. And then the car magically ends up back in the water. We obviously have a cover up at that point. So I would love to know what's on those videos, who it was it her car, have they verified that or not? Now, I was watching Zav Girl's interview of Doug the other day, and when she brought this up and she was asking Doug, was it Kylie's car? Doug told her that roadside assistance guy information was verified and was legit. And she said, so it was Kylie's car? And he says, yes. That's a little wild. So then, in that same panel, Zav Girl asked Doug, did she have her clothes on? Doug says, I can't answer that. Why can't you answer that? You not being able to answer that, to me, answers that. Because this is an accident where she accidentally drove into the water, and now she's somehow miraculously in the back hatch, even though the windows and stuff were down. You can't answer whether she has clothes on or not. She should have clothes on, so if she does have clothes on, there would be no reason not to answer it, right? Since we can't answer that, either she doesn't have clothes on, or she doesn't have some articles, something is wrong with her clothes, whether they be tore, ripped up, cut up, whatever. There's something about her outfit that they can't answer. So that tells me that it wasn't as it should be, right? I mean, I don't know that, but that's what it makes me think. I think the tow truck guy is completely legit. I think that it was either Kylie or Kate or Sammy that the tow truck driver saw in Kylie's car. What do you think? Let me know. I want to know. Because I think the tow truck guy, I think he's completely credible. I think he seems like a good dude. Probably starting a family, probably got a young kid or a young wife, hasn't been married very long, and just getting started in life. I mean, he even went and bought a new t-shirt for the interview, you know? Fresh white tee, black ball cap. He seemed like a clean-cut dude. He seemed healthy. He seemed fine. He seemed a lot better off than the kids we're talking about. Jagger, Kate. Sammy looks like a Olsen twin or whatever to me. Have y'all noticed that? I know she looks like SF Investigates too, but she looks like an Olsen twin. Like, little different, got the same appearance. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to get on here and talk about that because I think the guy's credible. I think it doesn't make sense to think he's not credible. The only question is it the right car or is his memory mistaken because it was a week between him seeing the girl and seeing the girl on the poster with a car? Have a good one, guys.